One of your recent blog posts asks, who needs training again? This is where initial staff training is often ineffective and insufficient first time round, and then a month later people are pulled back in to do a recap course. Could you tell us why, in your opinion, you see the performance support as an effective alternative to that?
Sure. Actually, I've just had some flack around that blog post. I just had a few challenges around that. One was saying that they felt that I was being derogatory towards learning and development professionals, thinking that they didn't really get this, but I certainly wasn't. That wasn't my intention. But what I was saying in that situation was that when we look at particular areas of training, particularly around systems and processes and product training, all the evidence says to us that people just don't remember all that stuff they're taught in their CRM course or their course which is run a month prior to the rollout of the new CRM system or the rollout of their new finance system, or they're about to get an upgrade to Microsoft Office and they go off on a week-long course to learn about Excel and Word and so on. They simply don't remember it. And when they come back and start to use it, the first thing they do is they either the first thing they do is turn to a colleague who they ask a friend, and that's the first line. In fact, Eric Schmidt of Google has said recently that the reason that one reason that Google's been so successful is that people will take the line of least resistance to find out what they need to know. And the reason that Google's homepage, when you hit the Google page, is absolutely simple, it's got a search box there and nothing else around it, is really key to that thinking. People will go to the easiest route. Now, the easiest route for people, if for example you've been on a CRM training course, is not that bit of shelfware, that training manual which you've been given in the course and you put on your shelf. You won't pull that down and try and find your way through it. What you'll do is you'll try and ask someone who knows, who you think might know. Then you might call a help desk, if there is a help desk. And at the same time, you're probably using trial and error. So it does fundamentally change. It therefore means that the training that you're doing actually counts for naught. You might as well take the money and throw it out the window to a certain extent. And one of the problems I think we have is people run training programs, and these training programs, the training budget is usually baked in to the project plan and into the project budget. So project managers, who there's no reason why they would know any better because they're not learning experts, project managers feel that they've got to spend their budget, so they run training programs. But in fact, if we took that budget and thought about how we can support people with the information they need at the point of need, whether it's through using some smart technology, some smart performance support, EPSS technology, or whether it's simply giving them access to stores of information, to links to people, to the ability to be able to ask the right question at the time, at that point of need, that'll be a far better use of our time and money and our effort. And when we look at how resource hungry developing training programs for systems, product and process training, it's incredibly resource hungry. It requires training and development departments to go out and talk with the key business owners, the key product managers, the key process owners and so on and so forth, and really all for naught. And in fact, I would argue that really the value that we get out of that is very low. The real value out of that is probably just bringing people together to talk, so that they know that Sally and Joe were in the course with them, and if they've got a problem, they'll ring Sally and Joe up because they might have an idea. But actually, the value of the content is really very, very limited. You'd be far better off, and I've always said I don't care whether it's a sophisticated electronic system or whether it's on parchment. You'd be far better off giving people a list of frequently asked questions or a list of hints or some sort of job aid, and rather than running them through a 3-day training course. Put them through a half-day training course in terms of this is the change, this is what it's going to mean for you, but actually keep all that content out of it and give them access to that content somewhere else. And that's where another thing that I really think has happened is that in the past we lived in an environment where knowledge was power. Now we have so much information, and the knowledge that is generated by analysis of that information is in many cases so transient that actually knowledge is no longer power, but access is power.